First American Bank is a privately held 47-branch bank located here in the greater Chicago metro area. We've been a customer of Interactive Intelligence since the summer of 2002. We wrestled with a number of challenges, one of which was about 2 years prior to that, we had begun really using an ACD with our existing phone system. And so we struggled then with providing enough resources so that calls could be answered.
In terms of switching to an IP-based communications platform, we found that it's very robust, much easier to maintain than several discrete PBX units out in multiple locations. The thought being then we would have an IP solution, voice over IP solution, that connected all of our branches to the rest of the facilities in the bank and make it easier to communicate with folks elsewhere in the business. Being on a Windows platform, it's looking at specialized hardware required to run the environment, and we manage them much as we do regular Windows servers. After experiencing the success of that rollout, we looked around to see how we could better utilize the staff that we have in our branch operations. One of the early things that came to mind is, well, if they're not busy throughout their entire shift, and perhaps they can take some of the customer-facing support calls that come into our various call centers. So we experimented with that and found that by actually adding folks to ACD queues out in the field, we could give them more to fill their day, particularly as the branch traffic dies off. And we could also better serve our customers by having more available agents than we previously had to take calls. So we saw at the time a fairly dramatic drop in call queue wait times and abandons because of taking that approach. Among the benefits we saw of the virtualized call center, the idea where we don't have a central location now where all the customer-facing calls dial into, is that we've been able to operate much more efficient. We're able to take many more calls with fewer people. We found that using presence management, we could also better serve our customers by having more available agents than we previously had to take calls. We were able to find out who's where they're signed in, if they're available, if they're in a status where they can be reached or not. And it found that it was much easier to contact the right people at the right time.
Interactive Intelligence really provided the most functionality that we were looking for. The tools that allowed the queue managers or department managers to really manage what was going on. And the statistical data that was tracked on a call and that could be reported on, whether it be cradle to grave statistics on what call time, wait time, whether or not just the ease at which we could take calls by using the recorder feature. It was very, very impressive. In the past, that was just a black hole. And so when you expose that and you begin to track it and you begin to incent people and measure their activities, you discover a whole world that you didn't know existed.